I want to welcome Tea Party member, co-patriot, Matt O'Brien. Matt, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much.
Matt, what'd you think of the meeting tonight? What'd you think?
I think we did a good job in setting the tone, getting our message kicked off, and we're going to be doing our fundraising. We're going to be doing our organizing for our April 15th rally, our fourth consecutive April 15th rally.
Yes.
We have yet to save the Republic, and we'll keep doing this until we get it right.
This is a slow... One of the things I had asked Ken tonight, the questions was, there's a lot of people talking about how the Tea Party, where's the Tea Party? Where's the Tea Party? We were a huge visible element during 2010. But for some strange reason, it is appearing that the Tea Party isn't there in 2012. But according to what Ken said, is that we're working in the background and we're making a difference that way. What is your opinion of that?
Ken is exactly right on that. I didn't join the Worcester Tea Party because I needed to, become famous. I didn't join the Worcester Tea Party because I wanted to see my face on the cover of Life magazine or something. I sincerely want to improve our nation and to set our course on the right path, to move us away from so many of the bad things that we can see are happening in our country. So I drove all the way down to Webster where Ken was having this meeting, and I was expecting to meet all sorts of, political operatives and insiders and people who know what's going on and people who know about politics and have degrees in it and stuff like this. No, I didn't. I went to Ken's factory. I met with, machinists. I met with, a guy who is a printer. I met with a guy who's a programmer. I met a lady who does sales for cosmetics. The sort of regular, ordinary, everyday people that you will sit on the bus with the next time. And I realized this is the most powerful thing. This is us taking our government back. This is us growing into that role that we were all born and destined to participate in.
Now, this brings me to what you, again, off the mic, we were talking about somebody named Glenn Reynolds who does a blog called Instapundit, and what you were talking about, again, getting back to Brown, about he seemed like he was stumbling, he didn't seem as polished and professional, and people are getting sick and tired of that. I want you to expand upon that, because I had said to you that that's kind of like what I'm doing here. I don't have that education and experience working here in media and radio. I'm one of those guys that is just trying to bring it real and raw right to the people. So take it from here.
Yeah. Glenn Reynolds at Instapundit is one of the original bloggers that really helped launch what we call the blogosphere. He was before the Daily Kos. Mm-hmm. He was before a lot of these other things. And he is probably one of the simplest blogs that you can have. He has little bullet points with connections to your story. And he has coined a phrase that I continually go back to, referring to people who blog and referring to people who are in the amateur journalists as the army of Davids. The mainstream media, with its high production values, with its airbrush stars, with the Katie Courics of the world, with the right. NPR, with all the awards, are never able to seem to deliver what people are crying for, which is why we are finding ugly pages like the Drudge Report, yes, or so many of these other sites to be constantly where people turn for news.
Look at Herman Cain. Herman Cain, he was the front runner. Suddenly, poof, out of nowhere, these women from 17 years ago.
Oh, sure.
Whether he did or he didn't, okay, you understand where I'm going. That's neither here nor there. We've all got skeletons in our closet. The point I'm making is, oh, he's the front runner. Let's dig up the dirt. Poof, here we go.
But this goes to exactly what I'm saying. There is an almost formula that these people follow. And, that with Herman Cain is a perfect example. There was a drip, 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 so that the story had just enough new salacious details so that every few days they could talk about something like, she said that, whatever salacious details came out, where was it? Where did they go? What did they do? Under what conditions? And it was enough to justify publishing the story. And I firmly believe that if it was done even-handedly, if it was done to both sides of the political divide in our country, that would at least, level the playing field. If the news industry was in it for its own petty reasons, if there was these unbridled pursuit of the dirt on every politician, because whenever you're able to get the dirt on some celebrity or politician, that works out for you being that much closer to having a secure job, fine. But really what's happening now is that is not what's happening. What is happening now is that people are going to journalism school and political science school at the same time and forcing a voice into their reporting. The Tea Party, and to an extent, even the Occupy movement and other things that we're seeing, is people standing up and taking responsibility for their lives. And that is a core value. That is an American value. It's a value that we've shared with the world. Many other places in the world, there's a king or whatever they would call him, chairman.
Or a despot, somebody, right.
And he decides that you're going to be a ditch digger and you're going to be a nuclear scientist. And and that's it. And your life is planned for you. And you go from cradle to grave, and you'll get, your bowl of rice gruel, and you'll get your victory sausage on special holidays, and that's it. And not only is that horribly soul-sucking for the people, but it destroys whatever society they have. It wrecks everything they have. And every few years we have some journalist go overseas and say, geez, in China, they have these beautiful new railroads. In Italy, that guy Mussolini, he's made the trains run on time.
I see where you're going.
This guy Hitler, he's got it figured out. He knows how to get things done. He doesn't have all this messy democracy stuff. There was a time when there was journalism was inhabited by blue-collar people. Francis Church is a personal hero of mine. He's a gentleman who worked at a newspaper in New York called The Sun. He wrote, Yes, Virginia, there is Santa Claus.
Oh, okay.
He also did an awful lot to curtail the abuses of power that Boss Tweed and Tammany Hall fixed into the New York City.
Right. Right. We had press bias of that nature then. Now you're talking about a transition.
Right.
Okay.
And that was a more egalitarian. At least that was speaking with the voice more of the common man, which is what I think we are returning to in a lot of ways with the amateur journalists, with this army of David. But professionally trained, college-educated, elite journalists with this polished delivery system, especially at NPR. NPR wins all these awards because they have very good production values, and who wouldn't give NPR an award?
Of course. And I remember the whole debacle with Juan Williams getting fired, and then shortly after, and it's in this article here, Schiller. Yeah. Schiller, she was one of the executives there, and one of the reason why she lost her job is right here. Among other things, times have been tough for NPR in the last 6 months. Just last week, NPR CEO Vivian Schiller spoke at a National Press Club in Washington. And I'm sorry, folks, this is from 2011, March 16th. Among other things, she discussed the firing of NPR senior correspondent Juan Williams in October. By the end of the week, Schiller herself was out of a job after a video caught her chief fundraiser making disparaging remarks about Tea Party activists and Jews. I remember seeing that. That was unbelievable. Is this what amateur journalism is doing to the monolith of established media? Is that we're in behind the scenes and we're literally catching them at their own game?
Absolutely. They've that fourth wall has broken.
Right.
There is, when somebody from the Arab Spring is using his iPhone and putting raw video of what's going on the net.
Right.
While he's part of the actual event.
Sure.
That is a very powerful testament to what's going on. If things like that had happened, do you think Tiananmen Square would have ended differently? I know I do.
How bad is the rhetoric going to get as this campaign progresses?
Oh, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I really believe the gloves are off. You know, I normally start my day being called a racist, sexist, homophobe.
Sure.
And I've kind of
I get it all the time, too.
I've kind of gotten used to that. And you know, the first 1,000 or so times, it kind of hurt because, you know, I'm not a racist, sexist, homophobe. Or, you know, I'm sure every racist, sexist, homophobe says that. But
tell us how you really feel. Hey, it's a meat and potato show. Go ahead.
But really, I mean, they have nothing. And when you have nothing, all you can is to pull at the heartstrings of those around you and to try and elicit whatever pathetic sympathies you can. And if you're going to throw a man's family under the bus for this sort of horrible experience, and you somehow feel that you have superiority in this, that really points out a certain lack of your character.
And here's the thing, is that, first of all, why does Santorum have to explain that anyway? That is a private, personal, horrible experience.
I saw the response when he was confronted in New Hampshire about what had happened, and he had found out his wife was in tears, unconsolable, to being forced to relive this in front of, in such a detestably public manner. And it's, do you think that's what we need to do? Well, if that's what we need to do, then we're going to have harder politicians. And if we're going to have harder politicians, we're going to have uglier campaigns, and it's going to be worse next time.
And here's the thing about the politicians that we have now. Years ago, when I was younger and much more stupid, I would look at things like this. I would look at, well, we got to look at their record. I think I've become old enough, either I just don't care anymore, or I've just become wiser, to where everyone's got a record. Everyone's got a skeleton. Everyone's got a story.
Oh, sure.
What do we want, Jesus to come down and run for office? Do we want some perfect thing to come out of an assembly line?
Yeah.
Or are we going to actually elect somebody who is a person, a human? If somebody has done something egregious and abhorrent, okay. Again, getting back to let's deal with reporting on facts. Fine, let's do that. But if this is all they've got on Santorum,
yeah.
Okay, he voted for raising the debt ceiling. He voted for this. He voted for more strict restrictions on gun control. At what point in time do we just get back to the facts? I mean, just get back to the, all right, let's concentrate on this one guy here. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You see, I think that, you know, you can't conflate the two. It is absolutely appropriate for us to have a discussion over, you know, what he says today and what he said yesterday. I think that's absolutely appropriate. Mm-hmm. If he's saying that I want to have the NRA candidate, I'm the NRA candidate, I'm in favor of everybody having a gun, every good American has a gun, but he voted for all these increases in the gun control laws, I think that's an absolutely fair critique. And I think that the hypocrite critique is a very fair critique. And I think that, you know, politicians should be bold enough to be able to say, look, I did that then for political expedience, or I thought I did the right thing then. I've grown wiser in the 10 years since then, and now I believe this.